two voices of the Embodied Leader. I'm so excited to be chatting today with Heather. Welcome, Heather. I'm happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm
Really,
glad to be here.
I'm really excited about our conversation, and I'm glad that you're glad to be here. Let's just jump right in. Why don't you share with our viewers who you are and what you do, and we'll just go from there and feel it out.
Oh, wow. Thank you for the floor.
Absolutely.
So I'm Heather Dolson. I also go by my stage performer name, Heather Wild. I'm out there in different ways. I I am many things. I'm like a multidimensional. I'm a mother primarily. I'm a single mom and I have been for a long time. I have two kids. They are 12 and 9 now. But apart from being a mother, I am an author. I've written books and I also make those into audiobooks. So I self publish. And really, where I love that, that's a big creative outlet for me. But I also teach and I practice sensual embodiment. It's also called sensual somatic. It is a union of sensual dance, somatic healing, and even there's foundations of yoga in there. So it pulls on my yoga background. I've been practicing and teaching yoga for 20 years. So it seemed like a natural transition for me. Like I saw it, I don't know, that was in 2022 that I got my certification. So yeah, it seemed like the perfect bridge for me. It was one of those things that I saw the woman who taught it and started this, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's so beautiful." And then when I found out she actually teaches it, I was like, "What?" It was like an instant, "Yes, I have to take that." So I I practice that, I teach it. I do that locally, I do that online for people, one-on-one groups, and I also practice it and use that to create content and share that to different platforms where I have organically monetized my content in that way. Being able to just dance and share that and be able to have people that are like, "Hey, we like this," and they pay me to see it is has been really freeing and liberating because previously I was a registered nurse for 15 years and left that sector about 3 years ago now.
Okay. First of all, good for you. Congratulations. That is a beautiful evolution into becoming one of the things that you just said that really caught my attention that I love is that you said I'm multidimensional. I do lots of things. And I know that for me, that's something that I've struggled with over the years, really pinpointing who I am and what I do. And I know myself, I've really come to understand that like I'm not meant to do one thing. I'm not meant to be one thing. So maybe could you just share a little bit about that evolution for yourself of really owning the fact that I do lots of things and it creates my own unique medicine and magic.
Ah, yeah, because I was always that way too. And then we almost like in our cultural conditioning, we're told at that age of 18, we're suddenly supposed to know what we want to do and decide. At the time, I felt like I already felt that desire to I wanna help people. I had gone on a trip actually to I was lucky in high school to have these beautiful trips come up, and it was, like, the perfect time to travel. We ended up going to Spain, and we crossed over to Africa just for a day to Morocco, but it was eye-opening, and I got back from that trip, and it was just sad too at the same time, like, I saw poverty, I saw it from that lens, and I left, and I felt, "Gosh, I wanna go back, and I wanna help in some way." So it's interesting how when we're like at that young age, how we make those decisions. At the time, I was always good in school. I was like, I'm good in sciences, right? I had my math. So I was like, go be a nurse. It made sense, right? So that's where I started. But it wasn't a straight journey for me, even from then. Yeah. Yeah. So I was in nursing my third year and was going through devastating heartache and not doing well and eventually listened to myself and got off the antidepressant it's okay, and I fully endorse that for people who need it, but for me, it was situational, and that's when I decided to withdraw from nursing. I was just studying at that time too, I wasn't even done yet, but that's how I found the yoga. So it was already at that young age, I was in my early 20s, of just already feeling that conflict of, "This isn't for me," or, "I'm not in this," or, "I'm forcing this," and I was a straight A student and my grades were like I was almost like failing. I'm like, this is not I wasn't going to class. I was smoking a lot of weed. I was like heartbroken from my first love ending. And that's how I entered into yoga. And so I've taken a lot of detours in life. And it's usually been because I've hit that point of I'm struggling here. And I'm the type that like I need to change my situation probably or what I'm doing. And so that's what has led me to each place. So it was there in my early 20s, I discovered yoga and it changed my life. Ultimately, I went back and I finished my nursing degree. Like I did decide to do that, which I'm grateful for because it has helped me as a single mom having that security and everything that's why we go into those professions. Cause I know I was very creative too. And my parents were like, do your creative stuff on the side, like, as you're working as a nurse, and I get that from that paradigm. They want you, your parents want you. They're coming from that place of you need something secure, and, of course, like, the more artistic and creative endeavors are competitive, right? And it scares us off. So then I finished my nursing, I had different jobs, but even in that, I remember my first job, it was in Toronto. I went straight into mental health because that was where I was like, this is my home in nursing. Like, I was just so fascinated by the human mind, by human behavior. And I burnt out quick. Like, I worked full time and I was already burning out. Then I decided to go part time and I found expressive art therapy. So I finally started to I have to dip into my creative passions, right? So again, I always found ways to weave it in, ultimately coming back to nursing. And I suppose it was just being in nursing so long. It's tough. I won't lie about that the healthcare sector is challenging. It could be very toxic. Personally, it was very hard for me. As a single mom with 2 kids, I was relying on my mom and dad, and for a long time, I felt like I wanna leave. I wanna work for myself. That was always something very appealing to me. It was one of my earlier relationships, a man that I was with taught me that really, and I admired that about him. He was self-employed, and he always said to me, like, "If there's something you love doing, find a way to make money from that. Find a way to do that." So yeah, it was about 3 years ago. I had already started dipping into the online world, and I thought, "Oh, I'd love to finally start sharing the yoga," and then it started with coaching, which was maybe not completely aligned for me. It was just what my first business coach kinda said was the way to go, and it was good advice because when you're just starting out in the online space, yeah, coaching one-to-one is the way without having to put out a lot of money and start making the money, right? If you get a client, you make the money. You don't have to. So it was good advice, but it wasn't aligned for me either. And so then I let that go. And it was in meeting and working with people, aligning myself with people who did speak to where I was at the time. It was another business coach who let me really connect with myself and say, I don't have to do what I was told to do. I can really just let myself feel into what is it that my soul is wanting to do. Yeah, so it more from there, and I that's where I do so many things, and I just allow myself to do that and not box myself in. I do love self-publishing. It's not all of me though, but I absolutely love it. I was writing away this morning, my next book. But even within that, I've found my own way. There's a formula that I was taught, but now I'm already starting to stray away from the formula of, of what I was taught within that. And then even with my sensual somatic practice, that has just taken on a life of its own too. And it's just been probably one of the deepest discoveries for me of myself, unraveling of shame
Mm.
and reclaiming my sensuality as a woman, my sensual somatic work.
So
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit more about that because I know in my own experience and just with chatting with a lot of women that we find the journey is at the beginning, it is just like learning and doing what they say and seeing how it feels, and learning something new and doing what they say and seeing how it feels. And then eventually coming to this place where we're like, wait a minute, everything that I've been taught isn't necessarily my way of doing this. And there's this shifting point where it's all right, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to do it my way. And wondering
Yeah.
if you can speak on literally the somatic response from stepping from doing it somebody else's way into doing it your own way. And like the way that shows up literally in your body, the difference between what it feels like to show up and do it in someone else's way and how to do it in your way and release the shame. Because specifically what I love about you is that you do put yourself out there in this beautiful, embodied, feminine, sensual way that so many women, they can't even access, let alone share that with
Mhm.
others and inspire others with that. And I'm sure that took some like teetering between this is too much or I'm not following the formula and then shifting into it feels like for me and I like that.
Yeah. And it's even evolved for me, that expression. Yeah. As far as the somatic, and it's all valuable too. I don't regret any business coach or program I ever did either. I think it was all necessary. But yeah, I could feel it within myself. There's a point where when you're following a formula that somebody has told you, there's a point where you're up here. You can almost feel that shift, that you're up here, you're trying to figure out the steps. Am I doing this right? It's very logical, it's very rational, and it takes away from that, from the feelings here, from the feelings like in the gut, from the sacral feelings, the places where we actually feel like turned on,
Yeah.
right? That's that, to me, that's that sacral energy where like the gut is, you just know it's just not right.
Mhm.
It's just not feeling right to me. And like to me, this is more this is heart led. This is our feelings and like tapping into those feelings. Because I've found, especially through we all have painful experiences, we have heartbreak, longing. It's when we can tap into that really, when we're vulnerable enough to say, I'm gonna tap into that and I'm gonna use that and I'm gonna alchemize that into something. Because and it's more about me. It's and I don't mean that in a selfish way or a self-absorbed way, but it's about tapping into me and sharing vulnerably because I believe that's going to touch someone. I believe that's gonna touch one person. I believe that's gonna ripple out, it's gonna have impact. And I think for me, it was always saying, even if when I make this post or when I share this video or if I decide to say this or write this or whatever it is, if I can touch one person, then I've done it. Then I've done what I needed to do, what I needed to set out to do with that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm thinking about my own journey because I've been doing this for about 10 years and I've always struggled with that really putting what I really think out there. Like I spent a lot of years just polishing it and like softening the edges to make it more palatable. And
Right.
following you and like being in the outer realms of your world is one of the things that has inspired me to not only embrace my own sensuality and let myself be seen because it does feel good. I am such like I love to be and feel sexy, and I always like hid that there's something wrong that I like that or that I like to be seen or that I like to feel that.
Right.
And you've been someone that has inspired me to step more deeply into that part of myself. And I'm wondering for you what it really took to just say, you know what? And then maybe it was super easy for you. I'm not sure, but what was that? You know what? This feels really good for me. I don't care what people have to say. And even the step further is I'm sure you've had to deal with people's responses, right? And their comments and stuff.
Oh,
And it
yeah. Yeah.
was always a big blocker for me. I was like, I don't know if I can handle the somatic response of someone saying, who's this? Right? What do you,
Yeah.
or whatever. That for me for years was what prevented me from stepping into that. So maybe if you could speak on, because what I really would love for this conversation to do is to just inspire women to dance on that edge a little bit because that is where leadership starts to bloom. Especially you feel good and turned on. by sharing and being sensual. If there was like something that you could tell people who, like me, who were a little bit hesitant because I didn't know if I could handle the response. Do you have just, I don't know, a tidbit or even like a story of a way that you actually dealt with and held yourself through
Yeah.
or just like online BS?
Yeah. It's been a journey too. I know I'm evolving and healing with that as well because honestly, I'm a recovering people pleaser. I go to Al Anon every week because I find my strength and my support there. I'm healing my codependency, and that is all related to this because,
Um,
especially as women, because we are taught to, yeah, to be small, to not make ourselves too big, to not make ourselves too much. And especially with sensuality specifically, oh my gosh, and it is such a different world out there, like, with our social media, with how it's represented, with how it's perceived, with who it's gonna offend, and I think part of it has been I've always had mentorship in some way, whether it's really intense or whether it's a little bit more distant, and but it I've always found that helpful to not be alone in it and find those people that I'm aligned with because it's my one mentor who always said, and he says it all the time in his podcast, like, he jokes about it when he says something, but he's, "Oh, I'm sure I offended somebody with that." So, even just hearing that for me made me realize it doesn't I can't hold back from putting this out because it's inevitably going to offend somebody. And that's that acceptance of you have to accept and get over. Not you are not for everyone. You will not be for everyone. I know it's easy to say that, but to embody it finally and be like, no, I'm not. And I'm okay with that. I'm gonna speak to the people I'm gonna speak to. Some people are gonna be able to digest me and other people are not. But I know it was last year, early January. Here's a story. It was really the first somebody had gone to my website, went to my contact form, and just ripped me apart. Like, just, and anonymously, was a coward and didn't even leave their real email. It just said, "Oh, you say all this about divine feminine and whatever." I can't even remember, thank goodness. But the tone was, it seems like all you do is really just put out stuff for the male gaze. And then you claim to be in your divine feminine or whatever. Gosh, it hit me. It hit me hard because I didn't know who it was, but it felt like it was a woman the way that it was. And this brings up a lot of the sister wounding we have as women. And I can even say, still for myself, in all honesty, I get triggered. I am a woman in my sensuality in that online space. And I just still disentangling from a relationship where I did compare, where it bothered me, where I was monitoring things that he did and who he followed and what he was looking at. And I would be like, God, that makes me feel really fucking insecure, excuse my language. And it makes me feel that not enoughness wound. Like, why do you, come on, there's that duality. Like, come on, look who you're with, right? Come on, I'm beautiful. I know that. Why do you have to go and look at what does that do for you? So I too get triggered by it. So I understand, like, I'm not separate from it. I can empathize with it and how women perceive me, even though I don't intend it that way. Even though my expression is a reclamation for me, it's not performance for me. But I know some people will see it that way, no matter how I intend it. It hasn't been easy. I actually really struggled after that email. It really bothered me for a little bit. And then I have to say, that was maybe about a year ago, a little bit longer. For some reason, it was yesterday. I had 3 comments on my YouTube channel, all mean, just I don't know what it was yesterday. I think one of them was just, they actually called me a granny. I'm like, what? Because of the dress I'm wearing? Ow. So I got called a granny and that I was trying to turn on the grass and then get a few people who come to save me too, who say, you need to be saved. This path is so sad that you're taking this path. And I didn't really give it much energy. I was just like, "Oh,
Mhm.
okay." Block. You can't block on YouTube, but you can hide people so they can't comment. So that's how I dealt with it there. But I don't need to let that in. And another story, just I won't keep it too long, but in my private space too, on my Patreon, for example, that is my private membership community. So I actually had somebody subscribe, sign up, completely looping, watched my content, enjoyed my content, completely looped it in a full tangent, looping around. Save you, Heather. I respect people who find Jesus. Go for it if that works for you. But I thought he came into my world and I did not ask for that help and he wouldn't stop. So again, I had to take a paid person. I gave him one warning. I said, if you cannot stop, if you cannot keep your comments kind, then I will be blocking you. One warning. He couldn't. So block. I said, I don't care if he paid. This is my world
Absolutely.
and I am the invitation, but I am also the boundary. I
Yeah.
draw the line. I'm the gatekeeper.
So this is like this is like super powerful, like divine integration of feminine and masculine. Like this is my safe container, very masculine. My safe container that I've created for me to step inside of to be able to express myself in any way I want. Goodbye. Yeah. Bye.
Yeah. It's
Um,
really liberating.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I dropped so many swear bombs. My young son's gonna help me like edit these, and so I'm gonna tell him like you're gonna have to bleep some of it out, babe, because we get passionate.
I know. It just emphasizes it, doesn't it,
Oh,
sometimes?
can't help myself. It's just real.
Yeah.
There was a couple things that you said in that those stories that really stuck out for me. One of them was that a year and a half ago you had this run in with someone who had some BS to share, and then you're now just in the last week you're dealing with it. But something changed inside of you. Something shifted between how you responded back then and how you respond now. And it's really hitting me because I had an experience yesterday where there was like some replies to some comments that I made, and someone actually said, "Don't take this woman's advice." And I laughed out loud. Whereas a year ago, that would have sent me absolutely spiraling. I would have been like, what is wrong with me? I need to make this better. I need this person to see me for who I really am. I need to explain myself. And none of that rose in me. I was just, oh, okay. And I just laughed it off and I moved on with my day. And I recognized a little bit later, I was like, girl, I am proud of you. Something shifted inside. And I'm seeing that mirrored in this experience that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
shifted. And it's literally that somatic response that, oh my gosh, it's not there anymore. Or it's super, super subtle, so subtle enough that I can
Yeah.
just give myself some love and move the fuck on.
Yeah. And it's okay to still feel it. Like, it's okay to acknowledge that there is still the shame there. There's still that humanness there that we still have that reaction maybe, but maybe it's a little softer. Like maybe it doesn't have quite as much of a grip on us as time goes and we go through these experiences. But yeah, like I think with that, it's really starting to embody that other people's opinions, validation are not a reflection of me and my worth. And I think even this is even speaking to me more because I feel like my relationships, intimate ones, especially my last one, really mirrored my work. It's almost like he represented almost that toxic masculinity that I am rising against, I feel, in my work. And he presented a mirror to me to do that. And I also found myself in that, like my small self of that little girl who wanted him to see me, who wanted his validation, who wanted his approval. But I also know the larger, the higher part of me is that sensual, radiant, wise woman who is tired of the performing, who's tired of the patterns of proving
Mhm.
myself. And I did that a lot in that relationship because I met him when I was just really starting to evolve in my sensual work. And I don't know if he was ever really okay with it despite what he said. And as a result of that, I oh gosh, I did chase. I did prove. I did beg. I did all of that. I wanted him to see, "Look, this is what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything wrong. Give it your stamp of approval. Love me. Let me do this so
Mm.
that you don't leave me." That's really what the source of it was. But I know now, my wiser self, now that I have left, I don't need him to see me anymore. He does not need my sacred gaze on him either, because he- eh, it is an addiction at the very root. I know it is for me. And I'm still disentangling from it, honestly. And even within that, it's the same thing of, it's okay that I miss him,
Mhm.
even though I know it was toxic. It's that duality. It's what you're describing, that like it's okay to still feel hurt when you see those comments, but it's being able to see it for what it is, detach from it, meaning that doesn't need to have any sway over me or my sovereignty as a human being. I'm strong in myself. It's accessing that wise, sacred, radiant woman who is larger than life and who holds me always, who sees me, who is the only one that I need to show.
Girlfriend, that lands so deep within me because there is a part of me that I've really come to reclaim over the last, I would say, 2 years specifically. And I can just feel it ramping up. And just, it's this part of me that's like, I want to be seen, yet I need to see myself. Right. And so I've been really seeing myself and making that enough. And one of my mantras that I feel so aligned for this conversation, and I think that you're gonna dig is there's 2. It's presence over performance and pleasure over performance. And those
Yeah.
were born for me in the bedroom with my husband, where I'm trying to like be a certain way, look a certain way, deliver a certain way, serve him in a certain way. Yet I'm tamping down my own presence. I'm completely disconnected from my body. I'm totally focused on making sure that everything looks and sounds and smells, stepping away from that presence, which robs me of the pleasure. And so, this mantra of like presence and pleasure over performance has been alive and well in me. And once I saw the change that actually took place in the bedroom and whoa, what that did for me and how much deeper I could go by accessing presence and really letting pleasure happen despite what it looks like or sounds like or whatever,
Yeah.
something fundamentally shifted everything in my life. And I started to take that mantra into everything, into every piece of content I make and the conversations that I have. It's like being present and getting whatever pleasure I can out of this situation is my top priority over performing. And I am a performer. So it's like riding that edge between what is real, authentic, present performance versus
Yeah.
everything is perfect and this feels really good
Exactly.
and yeah, so that really I hear what you're saying, and that's bringing that thread through for me. This is so powerful, and it's not just so powerful for me and you. This has gotta be alive and well in so many people, and most recently for me, it's with content because I love to create content, and it took me a while to even accept that about myself. "Oh, I like this." Like, it's
Yeah.
it's creative and have fun and play with it. And I would fizzle away when I was trying to show up in this like perfect little presentation of performance. And
Yeah.
I did some reflections over the years. I was like, holy shit. Every time that I like fizzled away, it's because I was trying to do it as in someone else's formula or someone else's standard, or I was focusing deeply on the performance of it all and
Mm.
of accessing that presence. Yeah, I feel that really like alive and well in what you're saying. I wanted
I've
to
been seeing that in your content and I love it. It's so aligned with me. I know I've been seeing you say those things. I'm like, yeah, we're like riding the same wave.
as I think really so many of us are, like, I'm a firm believer that those of us who are here right now on this earthly plane, Like, not just here in this light workers or sacred guy, literally those of us who are here on this earthly plane right now, we chose to be here during a radically transformative time. Like, the world, humanity is shifting at such a rapid pace, and I can't help but believe that all of those threads that are alive in all of us, wait a minute, I don't have to perform. I just need to be present with who I am. It's like alive in so many people right now because
Yeah.
the next evolution, right?
Yeah.
I'm covered in goosebumps now. Woo!
You're right. It's so exciting. I feel that too. It's not everyone, but when you can connect with people who are also on that path, it's really powerful. It's really powerful.
One of my other beliefs around that is that it only takes 20% of a population in any given room, space, geographic area to actually initiate a rise in the rest. And so I'm like, let's go 20%. Let's go. I'll be a thread in that 20% because then we
Yeah,
help everyone else.
absolutely. And that's a good way to connect it too with everything we've talked about, that it's that listening, all the themes. It's that listening to yourself and not going with what everyone's saying. It's blocking out the noise, the judgments, and following, yeah, your authenticity, because that's at 20%.
Yes. Yes. That's another quick mantra I have is authenticity over authority because authority ruled, especially in the realm of like teachers, coaches,
Yeah,
you need to be in your authority. And like for me, I'm like, it always felt fake for me. And so I'm like, my authenticity is not an authority. Like, I know everything. I'm an expert. It's just
right.
that. And when I try to be that, it's like, so yeah, I love that. It's
I get that. Somebody called me, one of my clients, like, is so beautiful, and it was like, "You're an expert." I'm like, "Oh my God." Like, I wouldn't consider myself that way, but thank you.
I just want to catch up to like where you're at now, what you've got going on, where people can find you if they're feeling called to your energy. And of course, we'll include links to connect with Heather in the chat box below. Would
Yeah.
love to hear.
Yeah, there's different ways. I just released an audiobook that I'm really excited about. I feel like it was much more embodied for me. It was starting to make my transition out of what I was told to do in publishing and what my heart is leading me to do. It's called Somatic Meditations for Embodied Awakening. So it's on Audible. I would recommend Audible. You can get the book on Amazon, but it was meant to be experiential and immersive. And I could use my voice. So that was really beautiful for me and authentic to me to use my voice. So I have various things. Currently working on just a passion project that I started 2 years ago, and I just started to like dabble in it, but I wasn't ready. I needed to go through this pain, this heartbreak, and this longing, because now I'm like, "Oh, okay, I need to channel this. Like, I need to pour my pain basically into this. I need to alchemize it. I need to transmute it." So I'm writing currently my next book. It's more of a memoir. It's definitely going to be tying in codependency, healing as a single mother, basically my love stories over my lifetime so far. Oh gosh, that's been cathartic so far. I'm working on that. I hope to release that soon. I feel like it's going to be fast because it's pouring out of me. And then I have spaces online. Patreon is my sensual kind of sacred space where I share practices, guided sessions, then my own kind of like behind the scenes stuff. And I don't do a lot of it, but I will do one-on-ones. Like I had a client yesterday. We just meet up like once a week and we share, we reciprocate. So I will still, if somebody asks for coaching, sure, I will teach the sensual embodiment, the breath work, all that stuff, more one-on-one. And I'm branching out in my own local community for groups. But yeah, that's what I can offer online. My website, heatheronhealth.com, would be where you'd find most of those connections and links.
Perfect. So we'll make sure that is available to all of our viewers. We're going to wrap this up. I feel like we could keep talking on and on. Maybe we'll have to do another episode. So
Yeah.
there's so many things that we could touch on and speak upon. But just to wrap things up, if there was one small, just like whisper of advice that you could give to women out there that are looking to get more closely integrated with their truth, whatever it is, what would you say to them?
That our softness is not weakness. As women, you're allowed to outgrow what you settled for. You're allowed to reclaim your voice, your body, your sensuality. You can express and explore your sensuality solely for you, no
Mm,
one else. It's not for performance, it's not to look a certain way. And you're allowed to choose a deeper, safer love, like starting with your own. It's our fire inside. I've been really playing with the imagery of fire because fire is destructive, but it also is our passion, it's our creativity, and it gives us clarity. So take silence too. Take space and silence for yourself. It's such a busy world. Let yourself have that, even if it's 5 minutes, but let yourself have that time and space to yourself because that's where we actually hear ourselves and start to tune in to everything we've talked about today of listening to your body and what it's telling you. That somatic intuition. It's a compass. Your body is a compass.
absolutely. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that strongly. So you've heard it, guys. The permission is to allow yourself to be soft, to allow yourself to be quiet so that you can hear into your own truth, and the permission to give yourself some space. So if you're out there and you're just like, I want to do this thing, but there, we've given you permission. Do this thing.
Exactly. If you're not gonna give yourself permission, let us give it to you.
Exactly.
Sometimes you need that from somebody. I know one of my coaches always said that. She's, "If you don't believe in it, I'll believe it for you."
Yeah,
And it is. It's like it's empowering to have people believe in you. It's encouraging.
we believe in you. We believe in you.
"We believe in you. Let us believe in it for
Right.
you."
With Heather at the link that's below. You can connect with me in the Embodied Leadership Collective. It's been an absolute pleasure. Heather, thank you for sharing and being here with me.
Thank you for having me. Always good to see you and talk with you.